Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Footprints. I'm your host, Mr. Davis. I'm an educator at BHS, Beverly High School, that is. And joining me today on today's podcast is none other than Emma Ouellette.
Hi.
Hey, there's Emma. Welcome, Emma, to the show. We're going to talk about some certain things that have really impacted Emma's life, who left a footprint on her, and how she's going to kind of move those forward as she goes. But the first question I want to ask you before we get going.
All right.
Yeah, very first question off the bat. Okay. Tell us something about yourself that nobody knows. Something kind of quirky.
That nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Something about you.
Oh my gosh, this is a good question. Got me thinking now. Something about me that nobody knows. I really like things that give you an adrenaline rush. Like I want to go skydiving.
Ooh.
I want to do all that type of stuff.
Okay, so an adrenaline junkie. I like that. Okay, all right. So have you done any of that type of stuff? Any adrenaline
now
type
that
of stuff?
I'm 18, I can go skydiving. So hopefully gonna do that soon.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of stuff becomes available when you're 18. There's a lot of age restrictions on things like that, definitely.
Yes.
So I haven't really gotten to do a lot yet.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay.
But hopefully soon.
Oh, all right. Well, we're looking forward to that. You got to report back and let me know how that went.
Oh, of course.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple of questions I'm thinking about here. Any siblings?
I have a brother.
You have a brother, older or younger?
Younger.
Younger brother. So now he's looking up to you, watching what you do, because believe me, I had a younger brother and a younger sister do the same thing for me when they were, you know what I mean? I was that guy.
Yeah.
Any pets?
I do. I have my child, who's my dog.
Okay.
I got him at the beginning of the summer.
What kind of dog?
He's a German Shepherd.
German Shepherd. And how old?
He just turned 9 months.
9 months. So I'm going to tell you this. So Mr. Davis used to be a cat person. Hello.
Okay.
Well, kind of. I wouldn't really say I was a cat person. My wife was really a cat person, right? And I turned her into a dog person because now we have a little Shih Tzu puppy.
That was my first dog. My first dog was a Shih Tzu.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're so lovable.
Yeah, my mom has one right now.
Oh, she does? Mm-hmm. All right.
So I have my German Shepherd, and then she has her Shih Tzu.
I love it.
They're funny.
All right. Oh, for sure. So now I have some questions that can kind of help you sort of reflect on your time and your interests and your values and some possibilities leaving BHS. As a senior now, this is crazy. I can't believe it. You're a senior. That's weird. Awesome, though. So what are some things you enjoy doing, even like just say like hobbies and stuff like that, or your interest?
Yeah, like hobbies or interests. I really like working with animals. It's funny, actually, when the strike started, I started getting into like animal rescues, and I've been able to help some dogs and cats.
Okay.
I know you said you like cats. I did a couple kittens, but I've been mainly doing dogs, just kind of either pulling dogs out of dangerous situations and finding them better homes, or working with a rescue to it that way. So that's definitely been something that I've been most interested in recently.
Okay.
I'm currently fostering a 10-month-old Belgian Malinois.
Ooh, that's cool.
I picked him up Thursday.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Look at you. So thinking about that, like here you are helping things, like helping animals, right? So who implanted that footprint on you to be able to do that type of thing?
I feel like it just kind of started one day. I've always, like, since I was younger, I've always liked animals. Like everyone has their own thing, and I've always loved animals, always loved dogs since I was a little kid. I kind of just, when the strike happened and we kind of just had a bunch of free time, I kind of started researching things. Yeah, I just started researching things and getting more into it. And then I had a friend who had a brother that needed help with his dogs, so I kind of stepped in there and was able to help him find good homes for his dogs and pull them out of situations. And then it just kind of kept going.
I love it. I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, but I feel like I think I started on my own.
Okay.
I didn't really have another person who was like super into animals, so it's just kind of my thing.
Just kind of your thing.
Yeah.
Huh? I love it. So sometimes you just kind of gravitate to things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dog lovers unite. We love it for sure. Tell me what are some of the subjects or classes that you like most in school?
I like most. I like classes where I can be more creative, more hands-on stuff. So I feel like, I mean, now as a senior, I'm not really taking a science class, but I've always liked science classes because we'd do like labs where it's more hands-on. I'm taking a physics class where there is labs, so more hands-on stuff. Last year, my engineering class I really liked because you could, like, we built stuff. I like that type of thing where I can be more creative.
Oh, creative
I'm
is
not
awesome.
good where you just sit me down in front of a teacher and someone talks at me for like an hour straight.
Yeah.
I won't retain anything.
Yeah, you need to be able to do something constructive while something's going on. While they're telling you, hey, this is what's happening. You need to just kind of move your hands around.
No, exactly.
Be able to do it. That's awesome. Good for you. So now, if you could try like any job at all, right? Let's say, or activity for just one day, what would it be?
For one day?
Yeah.
Like
any job or activity.
Like something I want to do in the future?
Yeah, something you want to do in the future.
I want to get into veterinary technology.
Ooh.
I think, like I thought of being like a veterinarian. I want to continue to do the animal rescue stuff and helping dogs.
All right.
I like dog training, so I'd want to do something like that on the side. But I think veterinary technology would be a good path for me.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm looking into with colleges and stuff.
Oh, good for you. So let's expand on that a little bit. So what colleges have you applied to?
I've applied. Where have I applied? All right. I have been super bad with the whole college thing.
Okay.
Like, I finally did get my applications and everything, but I feel like I pushed it off completely. Didn't want to do it. I'm someone who hates change. So I was literally just pushing it off.
Okay.
Until my parents were like, Emma, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah. So I ended up applying to UMass Amherst.
Okay.
UNH.
Oh.
UNE.
Oh, nice.
University of Southern Maine.
Okay.
I did get into LaSalle. We know that one.
Oh, that's in Boston, correct?
Newton. So it's like right next to Boston.
Okay.
I got in there for lacrosse.
Okay.
So it's kind of deciding, am I going to play lacrosse now? Because originally I didn't know if I wanted to in college. I thought it might be a little much for me.
All right.
But this team has been super great. The coaches there are awesome.
Right.
And they're changing my mind a little bit.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Well, it's always nice to have options, right?
Yeah,
Whenever
exactly.
you're doing anything like that, that's the best part about like deciding what you want to do with your future. Like options are always great. Trust me, I have 7 kids, and believe me, they all needed different
7?
options. Yes, 7
I didn't
kids.
know you had 7.
7 kids, 4 boys and 3 girls.
Really?
Yes, my oldest daughter's
Oh my
39, and my youngest son is 19.
Oh.
Imagine that. They're all adults. It's craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool though. Tell me, what are you most proud of or accomplishing at the high school level? What accomplishment do you kind of say, oh, I'm glad I did that, and you know what I mean, in high school? What are you most proud of?
Within school, I feel like going back all the way to freshman year, my freshman year was the year after quarantine ended.
All right.
So we kind of came back in, just kind of got thrown into things, and I feel like I didn't really care about what was going on. Didn't really care very much about my grades. Didn't really care what was happening.
Right.
Probably wasn't the best student. And then
It happens.
So after freshman year, sophomore year, I kind of started to realize, like, okay, I should probably get stuff together, get going here. And then from there, last year, junior year, I picked it up. Sophomore year and junior year, I ended up getting some like the academic awards at the school. So I feel like I've been pretty proud that I could kind of stay on track with maintaining good grades and like at least doing my best in school.
No doubt. So, being in school is very social too, right? And so I'm sure your friends have a big hand in keeping you on track and doing what you need to do. Tell me, who are your favorite teachers in school at the Beverly High School?
Oh, my favorite teachers.
Yes.
All right. We're going to shout out Miss Craig.
All right.
Love her. Mr. Siborowski.
Oh, okay.
I had him last year for engineering, and I like the way he teaches. He pretty much says, like, hey, I'm not here to talk at you.
Right.
We're going to
do some
get stuff done.
Yeah.
So,
How
like,
great
I
is
really
that?
liked the engineering class with him last year because he did so much hands-on stuff. Like, literally, like he said in the beginning of the year, he wasn't just going to have us sit down and talk at us. He did that maybe once.
Right.
And then.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
So, here you are, going through your engineering and doing all through that and having a good time, and now you're thinking about expanding into, you said, being a veterinarian possibly?
Yeah.
Is that
Or even like vet technology.
So think about that for a minute. All that stuff is interconnected, right? It's very synergistic and goes together.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you actually have someone that taught it, and now you understand it and had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of footprints.
Yeah,
right?
the teachers I remember are the teachers that aren't just there to grade you on stuff, but the teachers that are there to help you through stuff. Like if you're struggling on something, you take a test, you do bad on the test, they're not like, all right, that's your grade, that was the test.
Yep.
You're done. They actually might help you relearn it, and then like, hey, I understand. Why don't you retry this, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, no doubt. So now this is a funny question. I get a lot of different answers on this next question. So if you could go back to your freshman year,
Okay.
right? What piece of advice would you give yourself now as a senior, knowing what you've gone through, kind of gone through this metamorphosis,
So
this transformation?
freshman Emma giving senior Emma advice,
So
or vice versa.
Let's go vice versa. Let's go senior Emma giving
Emma. Okay.
freshman Emma advice. What would you say to yourself? What would you give?
I would probably say that I would tell myself to focus more on myself. I feel like I've always been so caught up in what others are doing, where others are going, what's happening around me, that I didn't take as much time as I should have to focus on myself.
Okay. So it's interesting you said that, because a lot of times we lose ourselves, right? By not focusing on what we think is important to us.
Yeah.
We always kind of someone likes this, and you kind of follow along in the crowd, so to speak, right? Because you're not really thinking about your own self. But then there comes a time where you separate and go, wait a minute, I got to start thinking about what I like to do, or what really makes me tick, right? And so that's the beauty of someone doing that, thinking outside the box a little bit, and then thinking, hey, listen, I got to get myself in gear so that I'm happy with what I'm accomplishing in my life. And that's the beauty of Footprints as well, because we have a lot of people that do that for us. You mentioned lacrosse. Do you have you like your lacrosse coach? And how long have you been playing?
I've played lacrosse, I want to say since I was like 9, 10. It's been a while. As a kid, I did a bunch of different sports, but lacrosse has been like the main sport I stuck with. So I just kind of carried that out through going through elementary, middle school, high school. So I play for the high school, and then I was also playing with a club team, which unfortunately that season just ended as a senior.
Okay. But the beauty of sports is that it's a microcosm of our lives, right?
Yeah.
So basically you have to overcome. There's some adversity. You're struggling. You're kind of working together synergistically with your team.
Yeah.
Then you're discovering your strengths and weaknesses as well as the team's. Kind of like life, right? We go through that whole transformation, which is really cool. And I'm glad you were part of our lacrosse team this year.
Yeah, no, it was good. I just think high school is super hard for everybody. Like you get caught up in the popularity, get caught up in this, and that, and then you throw yourself into a sport. And I feel like when you're on a team, you need to kind of realize like that's your team. You need to stick with those people like throughout that season. That's gonna be like your family for the season. And
no question.
I feel like it's important to make everybody in that family feel welcomed, feel appreciated, feel comfortable talking to you.
Absolutely.
I feel like sometimes in high school people get a little caught up in the popularity of things.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit. You know, I mean, I was guilty of it too back in the day. So let me ask you this. What's the biggest challenge you've overcome basically in high school? And then like what did you learn from it?
Biggest challenge.
Yeah, what's the biggest challenge you've overcome in high school?
Let me think.
There's a bunch of them. Could be a bunch of them.
I know. I'm trying to think of a good one. I feel like there's always going to be a handful of, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Most of high school it's a challenge itself.
For sure.
But one that I know that I've overcome.
What are you thinking? I can think of a few myself.
You can? Well, what's one of yours?
So for me, biggest challenge is really kind of not fitting in, but fitting in, right?
Yeah.
Meaning you're finding who you are as a person, right? And you're kind of adapting to the situation in high school. High school's a lot like the real world, where you're integrating yourself to different groups of people. You're learning from different teachers, administrators, your fellow peers. So all of that that is a continuation of a process of kind of getting to know who we are.
Yeah.
And so high school, you being a freshman, kind of going, oh man, I'm kind of wet behind the ears. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
To now being a senior, it kind of gives you a different view of things, right? And so I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that we have to overcome is learning how to be ourselves within a group, right?
Definitely.
And that's huge. So what's something you're passionate about and hope to continue pursuing maybe after high school?
After school, I'd say, again, going back to like the dogs, the animals,
dogs, yeah.
I definitely want to carry that out past high school and into college, and hopefully kind of make a career out of that.
Thinking maybe you can open your own
I want to own my own dog rescue.
Okay, all right.
That would be probably the goal. I'd like to go into like vet technology, and then eventually it takes a lot to open your own thing, but I think eventually in the future I'd like to maybe open up my own dog rescue.
Okay, all right. So that sounds like it would be a lot of fun, especially knowing from you with the way you are and your personality is, would be really cool. Tell me a little bit about your parents. How long have you been living in Beverly? Since you were a kid?
I was born in Beverly.
Okay.
So my mom's in Beverly and my dad's in Lynn.
All right.
I've lived in Beverly forever, and then I'll go to my dad's house in Lynn like every other weekend.
Okay. What kind of careers do your parents have? Tell me a little bit about that.
My mom, I've never been super clear on what my mom does. I know she works in like computers and that type of thing. She's good with technology, good in software, good in she's pretty smart, you know.
It's just the IT stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
The IT stuff. So I know
that.
she works in that field.
Okay.
And then my dad, construction.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thinking about that, parents' hard work, and I know mine were, right? They kind of implanted some footprints on me to really go out and kind of emulate what they were doing. And now you're kind of finding your way, but in a different way. You're doing the engineering and the veterinarian thing, and that is really important, right?
Yeah.
To kind of be able to figure out what you want out of life, what your journey is going to be, right? That's really a cool thing. So if you could make a positive impact, let's say on one area of the world, what would it be and why?
If I could make an impact, I feel like this is gonna go back to the dog thing again.
That's okay. We're good with the dogs.
Yeah, I wish more people were educated on that type of like the general dog information. I just wish more people were educated, especially going into like if you go into service dogs. I've been working in this industry for a little while now, so obviously I know, but there's so many people that don't understand, like service dogs, for example. There's so many people that probably couldn't tell you what it is. Somebody could buy an Amazon service dog vest and throw it on their dog and bring their dog into like a restaurant, and some people would be like, oh yeah, that's normal. Yeah. When really it's
not, though,
it's
right?
not at all. It's
there's different levels to all that stuff, right? And so
and faking a service dog's actually a crime too. Like you can go to jail for that.
Oh yeah, that's not cool.
No, it's not.
Right? So I mean, think about this for a minute. So now you've been exposed to something, right? And you're pulling back the curtain a little bit on it, which is good. Yeah. Right? So everybody kind of needs to know there's certain levels to different things that you're doing, especially when you're talking about animals and dealing with them, right? And so I think the biggest part of that is getting the information out to the people so they understand it's not this, it's actually this.
Yeah, like more general information on things, like especially with like when someone buys a dog, are they really doing the research on that breed? Do they have breed experience? Do they know what they're doing? Like this Belgian Malinois that I have right now, he came to me because he was going to be euthanized because he didn't have a home. Owners don't understand what it takes, like especially with a high drive dog like a Belgian Malinois and German Shepherd, like a lot has to go into that. And some people see like a YouTube video of this dog doing all this amazing stuff, and they go out and buy that breed, and they're like, whoa, this is
not what I signed up for.
Like people think it's like fun tricks, when in reality, years of training goes into that stuff. You have to bond with the dog.
Yeah.
So people will just get the dog, be like, oh, that's not what I thought it was, and then they'll just dump it.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a rescue yesterday, and they said they're a specific Belgian Malinois rescue, and they said they get over 10 surrenders a day.
Wow, 10.
Which is
that's significant.
Insane.
That is insane.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So social media is really killing so much
tough.
of the stuff.
So it's funny you mentioned social media because, I told you I had 7 kids.
Yeah.
So my oldest daughter, she's 39. So social media 20 years ago was just kind of becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
About 20 years ago or so. So my youngest son is 19. So there's 20 years between them.
Yeah.
So social media to her is a lot different than it is for him.
Yeah.
Because all he's grown up with is TikTok, Snapchat, all these different other social media type events, right? These social media outlets. Yep. So it's funny, social media can be a double-edged sword, I think. Sometimes it's good and sometimes not so good, depending on how you use it.
I feel like I think it's a negative. Like, yes, I am on it. You'll probably see me on it a lot of the time. But if you really think about it, it's a negative. It influences people to do these things. You see someone that looks super successful, and you're like, oh, I want to be like them. You do what it takes to be like them, and then you can find out that was a whole lie. Like, it was just someone trying to make money. Like, it has it spreads so many lies, and just isn't good.
No question. So my parents used to say this to me all the time: buyer beware, right? So when you see something, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I think that's good, but then you're like, oh, after you get into it, right? It's not what you thought it is.
You're like,
yeah, exactly. It's not cool. So what's one thing on your bucket list? Everybody has a bucket list.
Yeah.
What's one thing on your bucket list you would want to accomplish? I have a bucket list. I'll tell you a couple of mine after you tell me yours.
So definitely one on there is going to be the skydiving.
Okay.
Want to do skydiving.
All right.
I thought about doing scuba diving, but I don't know. I don't really like that idea.
Oh, no?
Like, yes, I like the adrenaline rush of things. My dad actually used to be a scuba instructor.
Okay.
So he loved it, and he's wanted to take me and my brother. And I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the ocean. Not going to lie. I'm not the biggest fan of the ocean.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Mr. Davis swims like a rock. So I'm not a big fan of the ocean either.
Yeah.
Although, listen, during the summertime, I do go there, and we do hang out and have a good time, with the family and all of that. So on my bucket list would be to learn Wing Chun. So I'm what you call it. I'm a martial artist. I do a bunch of that stuff, and I've been doing that since I was 10. So I'll tell you a quick story. When I was younger, I used to get into a lot of fights. People would, say stuff to me, and I'd fight at the drop of a hat. And one day, like, my parents picked me up from school, and my mother says to my dad, "What are we gonna do with this kid? He's always getting in fights every day. What are we gonna do with him?" And my dad didn't skip a beat. He's like, "We're gonna put him in karate." And my mother goes, "Are you kidding me? He's gonna kill somebody." And my dad goes, "That's the point. He knows that he can, and he'll figure out another way." And it was literally the best thing for me. It gave me focus, discipline, calmed me down. I used to tell kids, I could kill you right now, but let's not do that.
Yeah.
You don't know what I could do to you, but let's figure something else out.
Yeah, that's
right?
funny though. My dad actually put me in martial arts.
So my bucket list as a martial artist, so I know Kempo karate. I'm a 3rd degree black belt. In Kempo, but I want to learn Wing Chun, which is what Bruce Lee kind of fought with and kind of like developed into this book called Jeet Kune Do, which is a different type of like martial arts. Is his martial arts. It's like encompasses boxing, Muay Thai, all that stuff. So on my bucket list, that's Mr. Davis's bucket list. I want to learn how to do.
Have you tried it yet?
Wing Chun. Well, I got a dummy.
Okay.
Not me, but I got a dummy at home, and I learned how to do some of the exercises that go along with it. So I'm on the road to learning, right? But they have all these different things. I could probably go to Amazon and get a book called Wing Chun for Dummies.
Oh, yeah,
if, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I wanted to.
Amazon has everything.
Yeah, they do. They're pretty good. Yeah. They're good with everything. So I figured that's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll figure it out. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Couple of questions for you. We talked a little bit about friends playing a role in your high school experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many friends do you have at high school right now currently?
I feel like friends is quite a term.
It is.
Because,
it's like friends. How many friends do you actually have?
Yeah, because like yes, like I'd say yes, I have a good amount of friends, but who are like my real friends, you know?
Yes.
I feel like it's good to have like you can count your close friends on like a hand.
You
know?
can. You're right, 100%. It's funny you said that because I have a friend that I've had for 25 plus years from Haiti. And the guy,
really?
yeah, and he speaks like 5 different languages. I keep on telling him to go
That's
get
crazy.
a job at the UN.
Yeah.
He can translate for people. But yeah, I mean, having friends is unbelievable. And it's interesting, like, I graduated high school in 1981, and I still have the same circle of friends from 1981 like that I had when I was in high school.
Really?
Which is really amazing, right?
Yeah.
I used to talk to my coach who passed away a couple of years ago, my high school coach, my high school basketball coach. So it was like interesting to me because he was more interested in me as a person than what I could do on the basketball court. I mean, it was a pretty good player.
That's really important.
Well,
Yeah.
it is. I think that's important. And that's the thing you'll find, hopefully, with your coaches. If you go play collegiate lacrosse, you'll find your coaches will be more interested in you as a person, hopefully,
Yeah.
than you are as a lacrosse player. And that's one of the biggest things I think sports gives to us is that type of relationship. And I think also it's important, once we develop those relationships, we cultivate them, right?
Yeah.
And we keep them going. And so for 40 plus years, I used to see my high school basketball coach. You know, I played college basketball, I played semi-pro, I did all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was like he was interested in what I was doing with my life and my kids and all of that stuff. And that was really important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So high school friends play a lot of different roles in your life, but
Yeah.
high school coaches just as well.
High
Really,
school's
really
also
important.
super hard, so I feel like you gotta figure out who your main friends are and how you can make it through high school with them. Because I feel like I've had arguments with people. I've did so many what's going on.
Yep.
Like trying to figure things out, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone's trying to figure themselves out right now. So it's a really hard time, especially when thinking about friends. So I feel like you need to really figure out, okay, who are the friends that I can count on one hand, and how do I make it through high school with them, and how do I maintain a friendship with them? Because knowing who you really care about.
Yeah, no question. And you're right about that. I mean, being able to maintain a friendship after high school is really important.
Yeah.
Because once you go your separate ways, you're kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes, right? And I didn't want that to be me, so I always kept in contact with those guys.
That's good.
And we were able to really kind of form a bond and get together. Tell me some of your likes, and what do you like in some of your dislikes? First, your likes. What do you like?
My likes. It's funny. I actually have a list on my phone of things that I like and things that I dislike. Should have brought it over here.
It's okay.
Some things I like. Are you talking like bigger things or just like
Anything. Could
anything?
be ice cream, could be clothing, could be shoes, could be
Okay.
music. Some of your likes. What are they?
We'll get off the animal topic because I think I've expressed enough that I like animals.
She likes animals, ladies and gentlemen.
I like to use the gym to my advantage, like whether it's like, yes, it helps physically, but also try to help mentally. It's kind of a good stress relief. So
Okay.
I enjoy working out.
All right.
I like bagels.
Bagels?
I really like bagels. A good bagel will make my day. I'm not even gonna lie.
I love it. Bagels. You go to Bagel World?
I love Bagel World.
Yeah, see, so here's the thing. Mr. Davis is a diabetic type 2. Sorry about that. I have to give you that information. So I try not to eat carbs as much.
Okay.
Right? But I got to be honest. I do love a good bagel.
Yeah.
I
want to try to make them. I really like to cook and bake. Actually, over the weekend, I made cinnamon rolls from scratch, and I tried to like invent my own mac and cheese recipe.
Oh,
And
okay.
This was like Saturday night at midnight. I was bored and just felt like baking and
said,
cooking.
I'm going to do this right now.
It took like 3 hours total, but you know, it was worth it.
Absolutely.
It was good.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'm a mac and cheese fiend. My wife makes a good one. She
I
always
love
makes
mac
them
and
for
cheese.
like you know, the holidays and
Yeah.
stuff. She makes them. Yeah, she's pretty good with that.
You bring mac and cheese to me, I'll be your best friend.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'll tell you something. I got mac and cheese at the Cheesecake Factory one time.
That's my favorite mac and cheese.
I'll tell you something. I was like, I might murder somebody for this.
That's my favorite one. Actually, every
so
year
good.
for Christmas, I ask for a Cheesecake Factory gift card, and normally, like my aunt, she'll give me like a $50 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory for Christmas, and then the mac and cheese there is only $10, so I will literally just make an online order for just one side of mac and cheese, and I get like five orders out of it.
That's
it's
so
great.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, and then they give you, when you do takeout, they give you the bread too, and the bread is
Let's not talk about the bread. Another carbs I can't have, right? Here we go. So let's talk a little bit about a dream vacation. If money were no object for you at all, where would you like to go on your dream vacation and why?
I would want to go somewhere either like tropical, like you've probably seen on like TikTok or whatever, like these crazy places where it's like a little island, or like you have your own like it's literally your own private area.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what they're called, but I can't remember it. I think those are really cool, and also
like a bungalow or something like that, right?
Yeah, like it'll be like your own area, like you have your own little pool, that type of thing.
Okay.
Just I definitely want to go somewhere tropical, just for the experience. I feel like everybody says somewhere tropical, but I would like to do that, and then something more fun. I want to go to Disney World.
Disney World.
Yes.
So I got a story about Disney World. So last time I was in Disney World, actually, the first time I was in Disney World, let me say that, was 1972 when they were building Disney World.
Oh, okay.
And you could see Epcot in the back, and they were building all this stuff.
Oh, really?
My mom was pregnant with my brother, right? And we're walking through Disney World, and I see Mickey Mouse, and I get all excited.
Yeah.
Right? And I go, I can run and hug Mickey Mouse, take a picture with Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, I can't wait to come back here. Little did I know, I wasn't going to go back there until I had my own children.
Oh, okay.
Many years later, which was fun, though. We ended up going there. Like, we used to go to my parents' house. So my parents retired to Lakeland, Florida.
Okay.
Many, many years ago. And we would drive down usually, or we would fly down during February vacation. And we would go to Disney World and do some stuff down there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun. I went for, I think it was my 11th birthday. My mom took me and my brother for first time, and I want to go back.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think I really liked it. I am such a child at heart, so I
love Disney World. Well, listen, I got Disney Plus, right? And I told my wife I got it for my granddaughters, but I really didn't. I got it for Mr. Davis.
No, it's mine. Like I love Disney Plus.
I'm digging Moana. I'm digging all those movies,
I
right?
know.
What's the one? He's an alien. What's his name? What's his name?
God.
I love him. What is it? Stitch.
Oh,
that's
my
it.
gosh.
Thank you.
Lilo and Stitch.
Stitch.
That one.
Lilo and Stitch. So I'm loving that stuff, right? And I told my wife, I got it for Michaela, and no, but I really got it for me.
Yeah, of course.
Because I really love that stuff. Good question here for you, and I often think about this one a lot, and I ask this of every guest that I have. So, if you could have lunch or dinner with anybody, any celebrity figure, dead or alive, or throughout history, who would it be and why?
It's another good question. I feel like, I don't know if this is kind of basic, but I feel like it would be kind of cool to sit down with like a past president and kind of get their opinions on what the world is looking like today, what they would do differently, how they would change it, if they think things are better, things are worse.
Specifically, what president would it be, though? Who would you got to narrow it down? Because there's so many good ones.
I'd say Obama.
Who would you say Obama?
I'd say Obama. Why not?
High five right there.
I feel like Obama would be a good one.
Okay.
I think his wife, Michelle, she's like a super inspirational person. She's done so many amazing things.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to actually probably sit down with her as well.
Without a doubt.
Sit down with both of them.
I'll tell you something. Those are good ones. Really good ones. I had a bunch of different ones that I had, but I had one the other day that I was thinking about. Colin Kaepernick. Remember him? So Colin Kaepernick used to play football for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, okay.
And he was the guy who knelt down during the national anthem. And everybody thought he was kind of disrespecting the flag.
Yeah.
But he really wasn't doing that. He was kneeling because of the injustice in the country, and
Yeah.
and the George Floyd situation and all that stuff was happening. And
Okay, I know what
all
you're
of a
talking
sudden
about
it was
now.
crazy. So it was like they kind of got the messages got mixed up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I would sit down, and he's alive now today,
Yeah.
obviously, and I would ask him, like, why did you think that would work, and why would you do that, and would you do it again, right? Because people misconstrued his message, right? But his message was of love and unity.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I disagree with the establishment and how things are, and I want to make a change. And that's why he did it. He didn't do that to disrespect the national anthem. Now, other people will say, like, well, you know what? He probably should have did it during the national anthem. But he wanted to make a statement.
Yeah.
And that was the statement he made. And
that
he's
was
like,
a good
listen,
time to everybody's.
Exactly.
Everybody's looking. Everybody's aware of what's going on.
Exactly, 100%. So I would ask him, directly, like, hey, man, what were you thinking when you did that? Is that something you would do again? And why did you do that? You know
Probably
what I'm saying?
what gave him the
Right,
confidence
gave you
to
the
do
courage,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, all through history we have people standing up for injustices and all that stuff, right? Happens a lot, right? We just had Martin Luther King's birthday not a week or so ago, right? And so that's a good thing. We have these people to look up to, and they stood up for what we're trying to accomplish as people ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Those footprints were left on us, right? And through history, and now we're taking those footprints and we're going to move them even forward as we continue growing as people and individuals. Well, I'll tell you, this has been very enlightening for me with Emma Ouellette.
Ouellette. Like I said, it's supposed to be pronounced Ouellette. But I told you, nobody does that.
We're just going to call her Emma, the senior at BHS.
Yeah,
And if you see her in the hall, say hello to her. All
I'll
right?
say hi.
Thank you, Emma, for hanging out with us today.
Anytime, of
Appreciate
course.
it. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to check us out on Channel 8 and also Channel 22, and this will be listed on SoundCloud. And if you want to be a guest on Footprints with Mr. Davis, send me an email at adavis@beverlyschools.org, and I will leave you with this final question. Who left a footprint on you? See you next time. Bye-bye.